Here are 3 things the IRS absolutely does not want you to know about your tax debt. Thing number 1, your tax debt expires. The IRS has what's called a 10-year collection statute of limitation, after which your tax debt drops off and the IRS cannot pursue you for it anymore. This 10-year time limit starts when the IRS assesses your tax liability, and yes, it can be extended for certain tolling events, such as filing bankruptcy, submitting an offer in compromise, things like that, okay? Number 2, yes, you can settle your tax debt for less than you owe, even if you're not a homeless person on the street, okay? You know, there's kind of this pervasive myth, and I see even some financial influencers talk about, like Dave Ramsey, for instance, where, you know, the myth is that you basically have to be a pauper. You basically have to be homeless with like nothing to your name, no income, no assets whatsoever in order to qualify for an offer in compromise. That's just simply not true. Now, I'm not here saying that, hey, everyone's going to qualify for an offer in compromise. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying it's all relative. Okay, like, sure, yeah, you'd have to probably be pretty broke for the IRS to approve you for a settlement. If you only owe the IRS like $1,000, okay, you'd probably have to be pretty broke to qualify for that. But if you owe the IRS millions of dollars, okay, you may still be able to settle with them for a percentage of that debt, right? If you owe the IRS $3 million, and you know, you could still make what anyone would call a good income and have assets and things like that, and maybe be able to sell them for like $100,000, right? Which is still a huge win because you're literally saving millions of dollars on your tax debt, okay? So that's myth number 2. Myth number 3 is that you don't need, or it never makes sense to hire a professional to represent you with respect to your offer in compromise, okay? Now, once in a while, the IRS will come out with this warning about offering compromise mills, OIC mills, and in that warning, they will say language like, you know, a paid professional can't do anything for you that you couldn't get directly with the IRS yourself. And look, that's technically true, okay? But the same could be said for like representing yourself in a courtroom, right? You know, a lawyer, they can't do anything for you that you couldn't do by yourself. You could represent yourself pro se and be found not guilty, right? You could, right? That's a factually true statement, but that doesn't mean it's not advisable to hire an attorney, a criminal defense attorney, if you're arrested for a crime. Just like it's probably a smart decision to hire a tax attorney, like we have at Choice Tax Relief, or CPAs or EAs, like we have at Choice Tax Relief, to represent you before the IRS when you're going for something like a settlement with them. Okay, so don't believe the IRS myths. They want you to believe, sometimes I think they want you to believe some falsehoods about your tax debt that just